The first step to building your custom reporting and analytics and put it forward and using the internal data services of Siteline is to first connect to the source systems where you want to get the data from here. Here, we're going to step into the connector repository, put it forward, and select from the source system. In this case, we've selected Oracle Eloqua, marketing automation system. It could equally be some of the hundreds of other systems that we have connections into. Here, the configuration is just being set up to choose which fields we want to have available. You can choose all of them, you can choose some of them, you can only choose a few of them. And then we're going to move over to the destination side of this as well. Moving into the destination, we're just going to quickly type in and look at the internal data services inside Put It Forward, and we're going to connect into one of the repositories that's available there. Now, knowing this inside of Put It Forward, this gives you a superpower when you're actually integrating that you can also move your data into the reporting and analytics layer at the same time without having to have an extra hop in there. This allows you to have real-time analytics and precision information. What we've just done here is quickly set up the source and destination systems, and now we're going to do the data mapping. If there were any transformations or business logic that needed to be applied to the data, we'd be doing it at this point here, but we're going to keep it very simple for the purposes of this demonstration and just do a one-to-one mapping and map all the source data into the target data warehouse internally inside Put It Forward. Now that we have the data mapping connectors and Siteline data warehouse all set up, let's do a final maintenance here before we run it. When we run the connector, what we're going to be doing here is the initial data load. This is going to be pulling the data in out of the source system into the data warehouse. Typically, this would be running on whatever increment was needed, whether it was real time, once a minute, once an hour, what have you. Here, we just pulled in hopefully a little over 1,000 records as we're showing here on the screen. This is the data that's going into the data warehouse, which we'd actually build the reporting on. Now that we have the data inside of the data warehouse, you can use any one of your reporting and analytics tools to connect and build those reports. In this case here, we're going to be using Tableau. It could equally be anything else that you have inside of your environment. So we're going to connect to Siteline, the internal database inside Put It Forward, to start building that report. We're going to load the tables that we want to have part of this report here as well, and start to access that data and load it in. So now let's start laying out the actual report. We see we have the fields and the rows and the columns, et cetera. There's data associated and populated inside that data warehouse now. We're going to move into the exercise where we configure the actual end user report here. Performing a quick check on the data, we can see that the data warehouse is populated. We see that it has values where they're supposed to be, email where it's supposed to be, first names where it's supposed to be, et cetera, et cetera. Now let's move into the actual report writer that shows the fields that are available. Now, again, this can be all the data from one system or multiple different systems and can work with multiple different scenarios, everything from attribution reporting to next best customer to operational and performance reports inside of your finance and operational systems as well. So we're just going to lay down the elements that we want to see on the report here, and then we're going to begin to execute them. And that would bring our demonstration to an end once that's done. As you can see, we're just adding additional columns in here. We're going to populate that data. We can apply additional detail to it. We can colorize it. And of course, put any kind of stylistic or graphing elements into that as well. Thank you for your time and attention. This brings this demonstration of Siteline reporting and analytics to an end.